So you're in the voting booth, little black curtain on either side, one behind you. It's just you and the ballot box and all those choices for the various offices. And that's a powerful and important job of every citizen in this country, to cast the vote. But I'm here this morning to consider the possibility that your vote is cast not just on election day, but every day. That your vote in consciousness, vote for consciousness, is the single most powerful force in our democracy or anywhere on the planet, under any circumstances. Your willingness, my willingness, our willingness to be aware of our awareness and vote consciously with our dollars, with our thoughts. I don't have to tell you that we live in a particularly acrimonious atmosphere right now as this national election moves towards its crescendo next week or the week after. I don't know, it's been going on a long time. I'm not so concerned about what happens on election day. What happens will happen. What I'm concerned about is the day after, the week after election day, as this rancorous air, this divisive air that's been floating around, settles down around the winners and the losers, so-called. And so as a soldier of peace myself, I'm taking this opportunity to enlist you in this army of consciousness to see that all is well and all are blessed and we are one. And I know we talk about this every Sunday, and I know this is an impossible task, and that doesn't make it any less important for us to take a minute this morning, huddle around the campfire here, and affirm our willingness, our intention to see the truth beyond any seeming separation. To hold the possibility that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are just outpicturings of a cultural need for binary thinking and choosing between good and bad, right and wrong. He said, she said, I can't even say it. All that saying, that finger pointing that's going on. You and I are called to come again and again to the field, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. Look, wrongdoing and right doing are going to continue. It's the ideas and our projections on who is doing what that gets us into trouble every time. And yes, it's important to also go to the ballot box whenever you do vote, early voting, mail-in voting, showing up on election day. But more important than that is our willingness to keep coming back. Every time we feel that rancorousness in the air, every time we hear a divisive statement and angry opinion being aired, whether on the television or the guy sitting in the desk next to you at work, not to try to fix it, not to blame it, not to send anger toward it, but simply feel within ourselves the peace that passes all understanding. And how do you do that? I don't know. You rock your soul in the holy mystery. That's how. Come back again and again to the awareness. I come back again and again to the awareness that I just don't know enough to hold my opinions about who's right and who's wrong and who's the better or worse choice. And I also cast my ballot. It's not an either or. I don't want to get into the binary thinking about binary thinking. That's the trap. For those of us who are on quote, the spiritual path, who keep wanting to find a way beyond the material. There is no way beyond the material. You and I are going to live in the material, and we're divine. And we're called again and again to clarify our intention, to be willing to live with seeming polarity, seeming contradictions, seeming polemics pulling us in two different ways, three different ways. And to feel again and again that in the midst of all the whirligigs spinning around us, feel the whirligigs, I am we are the still center point to the extent that we're willing and able to remember that. And we forget. That's why we're here to remember and to train, to do our peace calisthenics together. Our son Mateo is on the varsity swim team at Brackenridge High School. And they practice hours a day swimming incredible, just 2-3 miles at top speed in 100-yard increments. I can't fathom how much work they do. And they do it for months. And they've actually only got 5 swim meets. He swims the 100-meter swim. His event lasts a minute, 56 seconds if he's doing a particularly good swim. So 56 seconds times 5 meets, he's actually going to swim less than 5 minutes competitively this season. But he's swimming for hours and hours, day after day, to prepare for those 1-minute dashes. That's how it works. That's what you and I are doing. We meet week after week. We sit in meditation every morning or once a week. However often we sit in meditation, we read our books to try to get our spiritual principles all straight in our minds. But really, what are we doing? Preparing to let go of all of that and simply be present in time of challenge. Be present in a time when someone's being disagreeable around us or we hear something negative in the air, and simply be present to something other than what's in the immediate environment. To be active rather than reactive by being proactive. In advance, we're practicing on Sunday morning. Oh yeah, here we meet in this field beyond right and wrong while the music's going, Kimberly's singing. We're practicing like the swim team practices. So that when life greets us, as life will greet us, with physical challenges, with relationship challenges, with work challenges, we can remember again and again to vote with our consciousness for love, for the power of oneness. And yes, it's much easier to say it than it is to do it. It's very easy for me to stand up here and say, this is my intention. We're practicing here now. And I promise you, I forget on a regular basis too, but then God calls time and time again and says, yo, wouldn't you just rather be present with what is rather than trying to fix it, change it? Wouldn't you rather resign your position as general manager of the world just long enough to let be what is right now, not need to fix it or change it? Won't you breathe into that with me? Just breathe. Just be present. Not necessarily meditate. Just be present. With what a strange, mysterious, unfathomably complex existence you and I get to live. Just sit with it. Feel your willingness to feel the mystery of it all without having to know. I read today that the average American smartphone user glances at their cell phone 1,500 times a day. You say, how's that possible? Who's doing that? And check yourself. How many times an hour do you just check your time? Just check the time. A little beep. Nothing wrong with that. It's apparently our lifestyle. It's the background noise in our culture now. But again and again, you and I are asked to stay with the awareness that in this moment, there's nothing out there, there is no distraction more important than simply being present with Spirit. Even if your cell phone's beeping and it's somebody very urgent needing a message right now, which apparently happens a lot. So, take a moment to cast your ballot with me. Cast a ballot for oneness. Cast a ballot for peace. Cast your ballot in consciousness. For a life lived with arms and heart and mind wide open to what is, just for now. And now. And now.